everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And as you can see, we're back here at Undercaste Studios. Thank you guys always for having us. Now, here's a quick word from our sponsors.
Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time.
All right, thank you all so much for watching again. Shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Big LROC. What's happening?
Hello.
How you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm here. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us that, Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Yeah, my name Big LROC. I'm from Tacoma, Washington, Northwest Cat. I've been doing music for probably 8 years, seriously. I dabbled with it for 2 years prior before that, though. So I'm 10 years in right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Solid decade. I do that.
For sure.
And what got you into music initially?
To be honest, I was on some street stuff, man. And I ended up going to a partner of mine's house. Mm-hmm. He had a studio in his house. I had never even seen, I had no clue that we could even do this. I had no clue that we could even make music. So, seeing cats doing that, my cousin was like, "Hey, come in here, come see what's up." My cousin dragged me in there, and one thing led to another, and I've just been addicted to it ever since, man.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. And, was anybody else in your household musical growing up?
Nah, not at all. My pops, he was in prison my whole life, my whole childhood. And my mom was not no music. I had no musical background at all.
Gotcha.
Even just I said, I was in shock that we were able to even record cats is out here in their house recording music and stuff. I had no clue that was even happening.
Yeah.
So to see it happen, I'm like, oh, I got to be a part of this.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then before we get into more what you do with it in the present day, I do have a couple foundation questions I like to check in with everybody on.
Okay.
And this first one is one we ask early. It's one we ask often. It's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Oh, man. The first album, I'm going to keep it 100. The Best of Both Worlds, Jay-Z and R. Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, I thought you were going to pull something much wilder out of your pocket.
No, man, nah. I'm a big R&B fan, so I'm a Jay-Z fan for sure, but I'm a big R&B fan, so I only really buy and listen to R&B.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was when that album came out, I was like, oh, I love Jay-Z and this is some R&B, R. Kelly. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that works out well then.
Yeah.
And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to that was specifically one you wanted to go to?
To be honest, I haven't gone to many live shows. I've probably gone to 2 in my entire life.
Oh, dang.
And the first one I went to was Summer Jam. Pretty Ricky was at the Summer Jam.
Okay, yeah.
That was hard for me too. I was like, oh, this is dope. I was a young cat. My mom let me go to the Gorge.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, shout out moms for that one.
Yeah, for sure. It was a nice time.
I dig that. And then before we officially get into the now, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
Yeah, for sure. My son passed away. Yeah, my son passed away, and I was just in the streets, just doing dumb stuff. I went to jail, became a felon. And I was just lost in the sauce. I had no clue what I was doing. So when I found out about music, it was 2 years prior to that, like I said. And then so once I got a chance to get back into it and go full force, I just said, you know what? I'm putting all my energy into music. And that's what I did. Yeah, for sure. That's what I did.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a very unfortunate circumstance, but it sounds like you're at least moving in the right direction.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, man. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason.
Hell yeah. Well, let's go ahead. Let's get on into you in the present day. We are going to get a super easy one out of the way first. How'd you pick the name?
LROC stands for love, respect, obligations, and currency. right? So it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's 4 things I just really like. I stand on all those things: love, respect, my obligations, and some money. So getting some money, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just LROC in a nutshell. I mean, it came from like in the streets, people was like, oh, LROC was something else. It meant something else. But when I started, when I started doing music, I was like, you know what? Let's change this to something positive because I'm in a more positive light.
Hey, I dig that.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, it's a cool name. Like, you know, you're never going to find anybody else who's using it. Yeah. It's very easy to remember. It looks good.
Let me tell you, have you ever heard of the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter camera? Yeah, it's like it's some NASA stuff. Yeah, when I first realized like we had the same name, I had made a tweet and I was like, man, every time I put my name in something, this damn camera pops up and I tagged them. And it was like, we was LROC before you.
Wait, they actually responded?
Yes, Whoa. It was so funny. I was like, oh, this is wild.
Hey, man, at least you can say you got an acknowledgement from NASA.
Yeah, no, for sure,
that's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad. Well, now you're going to have to do something with that one day, so you can collaborate with them on something.
For sure.
Yeah.
Go to the moon.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's an option.
Yeah, I need to perform on the moon.
Yeah, the first one for sure. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about your writing process a little bit. And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning.
Okay.
So when you get inspired, you're ready to make music. What are some of the things you do to get a track started?
I link in with the producers, man. I like to be like close knit with my producers. All my producers are like family to me at this point. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the studio with them. They might send me some beats, but we go back in the studio with that beat and do work to it before I even get on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably like the first part.
Gotcha. And do you get all your beats come from like people you know?
Yeah, I don't like to go on the line and do no downloads or nothing like that. I like to know that where my beats is coming from. I like to know that ain't nobody else rapping on my stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah. I try to be really close with my producers.
Gotcha. And are you always working with people in the area? Do you ever like travel out to get music done?
Yeah. I travel out. Man, I travel all the time actually. A lot of my staff work in San Diego and Denver.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm always in San Diego or Denver for sure. And then like we travel all around Atlanta, New York. We're everywhere. We go everywhere.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then as far as like getting the words out, are you going traditional route, pen and paper? You putting it in your phone, or you just freestyling?
Yeah, I'm in my phone with it. Somebody last night I was at an event and somebody was like, "Man, you should start trying to freestyle," because I had told them I had got writer's block for a minute. Mm-hmm. And it was like, you should just try freestyling. And I was like, I can't do that. The thoughts I want to get out have to be...
Yeah, it's got to be precise.
Yeah. I'm saying stuff in these raps, man. So I want
gotcha.
to be, I got to get it all out the right way.
Hey, man, respect to the people who can do it just off of the top. But the written way is definitely not the wrong way either. You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into it.
Definitely.
And then I guess before we move on to the next part, you said you've got a bit of a team going on. Do you mind telling us a little bit of what that looks like?
Yeah, about 2019, me and my business partner, we created LX3 Empire. Or at the time, it was LX3 Entertainment. Mm-hmm. It was an entertainment business and studio that we have in Tacoma. And as time went on, the team just got bigger. We started adding photographers. We started adding engineers. We started adding. I even got a business affairs manager now.
Dang.
So that team, we changed the name to LX3 Empire. So now we're a collective of like maybe 9 people right now.
Okay.
And then we also like rent out our space to other people in the city. So the collective is huge now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dig it. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now getting back to when you're working on the music, how long does it usually take you to feel comfortable enough to perform a track once you've gotten it written?
I'm pretty quick with it because due to the fact that I write. When I'm writing, I do like voice records, so that I have it.
Okay, just feeling out the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you have that right one, you're not forgetting it.
Exactly.
When you go in.
So by the time I finish a song, I pretty much know it by heart. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty easy for me to go from writing a song to performing it live. Gotcha. I probably do like 2-3 rehearsals. I'm a big rehearsal guy.
Yeah.
I do rehearsals for every show. So yeah.
I do that.
Yeah.
And are you ever pulling out songs when they're like new, or do you usually wait till they're like out and have traction before you bring them live?
Yeah, I don't like to debut new music. It just doesn't get the same feel, especially like unless you can get in an intimate crowd, then it's cool. But like when you're in a club scene, like people want to hear the music that they know or they already heard. So yeah, I try to just keep it like that.
Hell yeah. I dig that. And honestly, we're going to segue into your music a little bit. I imagine people have definitely heard and know your stuff by this point because you've got a crazy amount of music. It goes all the way back to 2015. And from the jump, your sound has been tight. Like your flow is super solid. Your beat selection is on point. Not to mention all of your albums bring something a little bit different to the table. There's an LROC album for everything.
Yeah. I try to, and that's dope that you noticed that, man, because people always be like, oh, I people don't put me on shows because they think I'm coming there and do like just a whole bunch of drug dealer music or something. Like, man, I got a lot of other stuff, man. You gotta check me out.
No, dude. I mean, you've got a full like basically love album.
Yeah, for sure.
And honestly, I usually try to like highlight a single track from like past work. But I'm just gonna put this here: The Art of Playmaking.
Oh man.
That whole album is a no skip album. It might be one of my favorite ones.
Thank you, man.
Like hands down. Yeah.
That's dope.
But your most recent album, Mandatory Obligations, which came out in June of last year, probably some of your tightest work.
Thank you, man.
Like the beats are all great. They're super cohesive.
Rob Nolan.
Yeah.
That guy, man.
And I think what makes the album really stand out is that there's a lot of emotion every track. And it's not just, like I said, it's not just this one every single one is a little bit different, and the listening experience as a whole is just locked in.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I am curious to know, out of all the music you have available, and I imagine it probably won't just be one track, but everything you have, what are some of your favorite tracks to perform?
Crack. Perform Crack. I just performed I'm Good last night. I had an amazing time performing that.
Yeah.
And Jug God is a great one too. I performed last night. I performed Either Way It Go, which is like a melodic joint. So it was my first time singing on stage, and that was dope. Yeah, that was really dope.
Hell yeah. All right, now I want to take a moment then, and I want to kind of zoom out. I want to look at more music as a whole.
Okay.
What are some of the things you're listening to right now? What are you inspiring? What are you enjoying? What are you taking in?
Oh man, I'm listening to a lot of R&B music. Like I said, I only listen to R&B music. Leon Thomas, great dude.
Yeah,
man. Isaiah Falls, great dude. I'm listening to like the new R&B, a lot of the new R&B, but I still bump old Eric Bellinger or like the Usher, stuff like that. Yeah, but R&B is my thing. I don't know why. I'm constantly hearing raps in my head, so like R&B gives me a chance to slow things down.
Yeah, it kind of takes you out of that space.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, damn, now I'm sad you're not going to be in Portland on the 15th. I have a showcase that I do every month, shameless plug time.
Yeah, for sure.
And this one coming up is going to be mainly focused on like the R&B. Modern R&B sound. Yeah.
That's dope.
But enough about me, getting back to you. Before we move into the next part, this next question is probably the densest question I have in the interview. But, we've talked about your experience with music, the actions, the reactions. But when it's just you and music, one-on-one, what does music give back to you? Man,
everything. Like I told you, I lost my son. Like, music was the one thing that kept me focused on something other than that. You know what I'm saying? For the longest. And then, like, staying out of trouble. Like for the longest time, I was just always going to jail or always something. There was always something going on. And now it's like I have a place to put my energy that's positive, and it even gives back a positive feedback. I didn't make money off this thing. I didn't did so much stuff for my family off of music. I didn't traveled off of music. So it's just amazing just to be able to, be here and do that.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one is pretty straightforward. If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive.
Okay.
Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
I would want to work with Kanye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And just... I would just really want to just sit around and like pick his brain. Like people think the dude's crazy.
Yeah.
But he be saying some stuff and he be really like, and he moves in a way where like you watch his business plans, like he making a lot of money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I mean, isn't he currently still worth like 7.2 billion or something?
A lot of money. Yeah. And people listen to him. Even if he's like a Donald Trump of hip hop, you know what I'm saying? He might not say things the right way, but he's saying some stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, he has been around for a long time. Like, even if like publicly he is not holding the right light at the moment, the knowledge is still there, the wisdom is still there, and I'm sure behind doors.
I don't think I'm a fan of the music as much as I used to be, like the college dropout days and stuff like that. But
he has always moved in a very like bold direction with every album is going
it's artsy.
to it's going to gain people, it's going to lose people, but he has never been afraid to like push the envelope and the genre a little bit. But that is definitely a super solid one. And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
Oh man, there's a lot of Seattle cats.
Yeah.
Holly Michelle, she's super dope. Raz Simone, super dope. Man, who else? There's a lot of artists out in the Northwest that I just haven't gotten that chance. I'm from Tacoma, so like, my access to these artists in Tacoma it's so easy. But when it comes to Seattle, it's like, oh, you got to kind of know use of politics and things like that. So it's like you got to know people to know people.
Yeah. Have you ever reached out to an artist named Oblé Reed up here?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should check him out.
Yeah.
He's a real cool dude. Shout out Oblé Reed. He's been on the show before.
I be seeing his stuff. He's popping, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a super cool dude. Definitely worth reaching out to.
Definitely. He's cool. Yeah. He's hard. He's definitely hard.
Yeah.
I be seeing, I think I follow him on Instagram and I see his reels and stuff. And I'm like, man, we don't know that's going on. Like when you see guys like that making those type of moves, it's like, hey, we have no clue that you even exist. We got to figure out how to get that in the light. You know what I'm saying? Because in Seattle, everybody knows this guy in Seattle. But in Tacoma, it's like,
I will say I've noticed, because I've interacted with a few people from Tacoma as well. Shout out 410 Noodles.
Okay.
And every time I like try to like reach out to someone down there for like someone up here or someone up here for someone down there, they're just like, you got to talk to them, man.
Yeah.
And it's wild to me because y'all aren't that far away.
Not that far away at all, man. I used to be signed to a label that was based out of Seattle, so I was here a lot. So I got a chance to like link with a lot of Seattle cats like Mafia D, Jesse James, stuff like that. I just didn't get a chance to get to those higher level cats that was like they're like really moving.
Gotcha.
And Oblé, man, I see him. I'm like, man, he came out of nowhere for me. I'm like watching it like, wow, he got a fan base. He's doing his thing. He's moving around.
Yeah.
It's the work ethic. It's way more important than anything, man.
Also, he's got a great team. I mean, Nash is his like video guy and like photo guy, and then Riker who runs all his stuff.
That's one thing about this. If you're a local artist, having a team is the best thing going for you. If you get a team, create a team, or attract a team, that's the best thing going for you.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about him.
Yeah.
And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it was guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show. It doesn't have to be a venue. It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Where would you want to perform?
I would want to perform in the middle of Times Square.
Okay.
Just in the middle of Times Square.
Yeah. Just shut down that big intersection, make it a whole thing.
Shut that down, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me do my thing.
See if you can sneak in on a ball drop. Start shut down anyways.
Right.
Take advantage of those permits.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, could have put out an album yesterday. Who would you want an album from?
Man. Wayne. Lil Wayne. But it would have to be like some fireman type back.
The old Wayne.
Right, yeah, you got to come correct.
Old Wayne. This is
dedication mixtapes or something, Lil Wayne.
Yeah. This is not new to the show or news to the show, but the first album I ever bought with my own money was the Carter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
the Carter.
Went and got it when it was out. I was just like, all right, this is it. This is it.
It was too. Like, wow.
I could still do the entire first track from memory. Like that blew my mind. It was the first time I'd ever experienced like a real concept album.
Yeah.
But like in the world of hip hop.
Right.
So it's just like,
that's what I be on now. Like,
yeah.
I be trying to keep my albums conceptually.
It's cool, man. I think there's because the album itself is kind of in a weird place at the moment.
Right.
So adding that extra layer of art, not just making it a like, here's a track.
Right.
There's room for that. And now, like you said, with everybody being able to record at home,
right,
you don't got to waste the studio's time trying to come up with these things. You can do it on your free time. Yeah.
Sure.
Hell yeah. All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and July?
Now in July, you can look forward to Love Addiction 2, which I'll be dropping February 14th. You can look forward to What Is Mine Shall Know My Face is a full-length album. So the Love Addiction is a EP. And then a full-length album, What Is Mine Shall Know My Face, fully produced by Stock. Yeah. And just a whole bunch of work. Videos. I got probably like 10 videos I've shot in last year. Dang. That are going to get put out this year. So it's going to be crazy.
Do you have any shows coming up or anything?
Nah, my last and first show was, I'm not going to say last, but my first show was last night, and I don't have anything planned for shows. I'm not a big show guy.
Gotcha.
I like to throw like intimate parties. So like I throw dinner parties and paint and sips, or like for listening parties and stuff like that. That's what I'm planning. My next thing is a paint and sip.
Gotcha.
Listening party.
Do you do any like visual art at all? Are you a painter in any way, or do you just
I'm not, but I just appreciate art. Yeah. Like I have so many paintings of myself from artists around my city. Like I'll go out and get it. Like if I see you are dope, I'm like, oh, hey, can I commission a painting? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes they do it for free, or sometimes like I pay for it. But either way, it's just dope to have like art around. I just love having art around.
I'm in the same boat. I had an artist on the show a little while back. His name's Shrank.
Okay.
And he's always done really cool stuff. He's done 2 different art pieces for the show. So he's got like a painting he did on his episode. He made a mural that I use in a lot of things. Then I actually just recently got this done by him.
Oh, he's a tattoo artist?
Yeah, he got into it. So it's and I guess y'all can't see it. That's what it looks like. Turn the camera upside down for a second. Yeah. But yeah, it's art is I mean, especially in the world of music, the visual art is such an important
you need
layer.
it, man. You need it. Yeah, it just adds, like you said, it adds an extra.
Exactly. Like album art wouldn't look good without it. Like show designs, even names and stuff like that. There's a lot that goes into it.
My the dude who does my album art, his name's Frankie. He's also my manager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he I don't know if you've seen the 10 for 10 album cover, but we were being really artsy. We had wine, we had our own everything for that. And when I saw the cover at first, I didn't realize what was going on. But then I looked deeper and I'm like, he has all these elements and it's really art. And I'm like, we got to keep doing stuff like that. Yeah. From that moment on, I'm like, every time, bro, you can just throw in like, let's make this stuff artsy.
Yeah.
Let's be something different.
Oh yeah, it's a good manager to have.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And then for this next one, why don't you go ahead and look straight at your camera? Tell everybody how they can find you.
Man, you can find me on everything at Long Live LROC. Or you can find me at www.longlivelrock.com. I'm everywhere. All streaming platforms, all my music, LROC, LROC.
Oh, yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Just want to shout out the whole LX3 Empire, shout out to Team, the squad. And I'm happy for Jimmy's Shinbach having me in here, man. Thank you.
Yeah, hey man, I'm glad we were able to make it work this time too.
Yeah.
All right, now with that being said, I've got one last question to go. But before we do, I'm gonna steal the camera for just a second.
Do your thing.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But in all of music, what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? It's a bit of a deep cut. It's when you think not a lot of people would know, but it's when you think everybody should know.
Andre 3K's Flute album.
Ooh, okay.
And just because, like, sonically...
Yeah.
He's doing such, like, it's not what you expect, but if you know music, you could take pieces of that and turn it into like amazing things.
See, my whole thing is that like that might be one of the coolest things for people to be sampling. You know what I mean? There was a lot that went into it.
Come on.
I'm going to tell you a funny story before we bounce out. I saw that the album came out and I didn't really know anything about it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it on. I'm going to jump in the shower. It's a great time to... So I put it on.
Listen to some 3K.
Yep, I put it on. I get in the shower and like 7 minutes in, I'm like, I don't think this is anything other than flute the whole time. And afterwards, I got out and kept listening to the whole thing. I was like, all right.
But it made me think like somebody with the vocabulary and the technical rap skill that he has.
Yeah.
To just not say a word is wild.
Well, he even said it in an interview shortly after it came out. He was like, look, man, this is just what I'm on right now.
Yeah, nah, exactly.
Like, this is what I want to put out.
And that's
so
what it did for me. That's what it did for me. It really was like showing me like I could do whatever. That's why I started singing. I started stepping out the box. Like I don't have to just rap. I could do whatever I want. Whatever I want. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I could do whatever.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, that is definitely, if y'all haven't listened to the whole thing, it is definitely worth a proper listen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm LROC.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all. That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.